The dress was simple, understated, nothing extravagant. Yet in the lavish Kingsley estate, simplicity was the ultimate crime. The grand engagement party buzzed with the elite, each guest polished to perfection, each whisper laced with judgment. And there, in the center of it all, stood Clara Martinez, her hands folded neatly over a modest cream gown. The chandelier overhead glinted against her dark hair pinned back with a silver clip. Her face bore minimal makeup, soft and calm, contrasting sharply with the glittering crowd. No one expected her to withstand this scrutiny, not Ethan Kingsley, the heir to a massive real estate empire, nor the room full of old money and sharp tongues. As Clara stood still, a gentle calm in the storm, a murmur floated across the ballroom. A poor girl trying to rise. She won't last. Yet no one realized that with a few taps on her phone, the very $900 million contract the Kingsleys boasted about could vanish in an instant. Clara's eyes swept the room, taking in every detail. The Kingsley estate was breathtaking. Marble floors, golden trims, towering windows. But each shimmer highlighted the judgment more than the grandeur. Every guest was a senator, CEO, or socialite, their gazes sharp, weighing her like an outsider. Clara didn't flinch. She held her glass of champagne untouched, her posture composed yet natural, like someone who had weathered storms quietly and emerged stronger. Margaret Kingsley, Ethan's mother, glided toward her in an emerald gown that caught the chandelier's light. At 56, her face was taut with surgery, her smile thin and calculated. She stopped a foot from Clara, raising her voice to ensure everyone nearby could hear. "Darling, that dress? It's simply not suitable for our standards. Did you borrow it from a thrift store?" A ripple of laughter passed through the crowd. A man in the sharp suit whispered to his wife, "Looks like she wandered in from the subway." Clara's fingers tightened around her glass, but her face remained serene. She did not have to answer. Her silence was sharper than any retort. Margaret, clearly irritated, leaned toward a cousin nearby. "Imagine my son with someone so ordinary." A woman in a sleek black gown, pearls glinting, approached with a condescending smile. She was a distant Kingsley cousin, known for her biting remarks at charity galas. "Oh dear, tell us, where do you shop? We're curious." Her voice dripped with false sweetness. Clara slowly set her glass down, meeting the woman's gaze with quiet precision. "I shop where people don't need to buy their confidence," she said, soft yet cutting. The cousin's smile froze. The room shifted uneasily, but the moment passed. A bystander whispered, "She's got nerve. I'll give her that." Ethan stood a few feet away, hands adjusting cufflinks, the picture of handsome indifference. At 30, he had the kind of charm that made people forgive arrogance. Yet he did not defend her. His eyes flicked toward Clara, then away. Everyone noticed. Another guest, a woman adorned in diamonds and forced laughter, leaned in. "Clearly, she's after his money. Why else would he choose her?" The insults kept coming. Adrian Cole, the Kingsley family lawyer, slithered toward Clara next, grin barely hiding disdain. "Clara, if you truly loved Ethan, wouldn't you bring something meaningful, perhaps a token worthy of the Kingsley name?" Laughter erupted again. Clara's eyes met his, calm but calculating. "You seem certain of that," she replied softly. Adrian blinked, momentarily caught off guard. "Oh, honey, I can spot a gold digger," he said smugly. Clara tilted her head, her voice low, unshakable. "And I know a bad deal when I see one." The crowd's laughter faltered. A young man, barely out of his 20s, holding an expensive watch and slicked back hair, added, "Do you even know how to handle high society?" Clara picked up a fork from a nearby table, twirled it once, then set it gently down. "I can dine without making a scene," she said, soft yet unyielding. The young man's face flushed, laughter dying. Yet more whispers erupted. A woman in red sneered at her scuffed shoes. "She doesn't belong here. Mother will have her out by the wedding." Clara's hand brushed the edge of her clutch, grounding herself. She did not look at Ethan. He had already turned away, chatting with men, ignoring her presence. Margaret approached again, voice dripping with false pity. "Darling, why not sit in the corner, less noticeable?" Clara's gaze never wavered. "I'm fine where I am," she said, calm and steady. The room paused briefly before laughter resumed. A retired banker, leaning against a pillar, added loudly, "You're brave to stand there, but bravery doesn't buy a seat at this table. You're out of your league." Clara stepped closer, movement deliberate, voice cutting, softly. "Leagues exist for those too scared to play the real game." The banker faltered. A ripple of uncertainty spread. Margaret's eyes narrowed, sensing a subtle shift. The party progressed. Every insult, every jab, every sneer. Clara absorbed silently, her fingers occasionally brushing her clutch, a quiet promise hidden inside. Years ago, she remembered her father kneeling beside her, hands firm on her small shoulders. "You don't need to prove anything, Clara. Just be." The memory flickered as she glimpsed a black sedan passing outside the estate, her father's old car. Steady, understated, powerful. Adrian, emboldened, leaned in once more. "She's cute, Ethan, but dragging you down. No pedigree, no connections." Ethan laughed nervously. "Give her a break," he mumbled weakly. Clara's eyes scanned the crowd. Then, softly but clear, "Connections mean little if they're built on arrogance and fear. What are yours really worth?" A socialite, nails sharp red, leaned closer. "Do you even work? Or just plan to live off Ethan's trust fund?" Clara tapped the edge of the table with her fingers. Calm, measured. "I work for what I have. Can you say the same?" The crowd's laughter dimmed, replaced by uncertainty. Margaret, sensing a challenge, raised her glass. "Let's toast the future of the Kingsley family. A $900 million deal with Martinez Global Tech, run by a mysterious CEO who never shows his face." Clara's lips curved slightly. She sipped champagne. The crowd didn't notice, too busy mocking. A man in a pinstripe suit smirked. "Girls like you think they can sneak into our world only to crash and burn." Clara reached into her clutch, retrieved a plain silver pin, twirling it slowly. "Some of us don't need to sneak," she said, calm, precise. The room went quieter. The wedding day arrived. The Kingsley estate transformed. White roses lined the paths. A massive tent hosted 1,000 guests, all polished to perfection. Clara stood at the altar, simple ivory gown hugging her frame elegantly. No veil, no jewelry, just her. Margaret's voice rang across the tent. "Before my son agrees, tell us, what does your family bring?" Laughter erupted. A socialite snapped pictures, posting live, mocking Clara. Clara's fingers brushed her dress, eyes locking with the influencer. "Make sure you capture my good side," she said, steady, dry. Ethan shifted nervously. The insults kept coming. Each jab, each whisper, each mocking laugh only sharpened Clara's resolve. She didn't flinch, didn't cry. She simply waited. Her hand brushed her clutch. Fingers hovered over her phone. The tent quieted. Clara pressed a button. The giant screen behind the altar flickered. Bold text appeared. Martinez Global Tech terminates $900 million contract with Kingsley Group due to fraud and disrespect. Gasps swept the crowd. Margaret's hand flew to her chest. Ethan slumped in disbelief. Adrian paled. The whispers turned frantic. Clara stepped forward. "I am Clara Martinez, CEO of Martinez Global Tech. I don't need this family. You mocked me. Now you see the cost of your arrogance." Years ago, her father had handed her a pen. "This company will be yours. It's not about power. It's about truth." The King family crumbled. Guests scrambled. Phones buzzed with alerts. Stock prices fell in real time. Clara didn't smile, didn't gloat. She simply held her presence. Ethan, desperate, said, "No one will love you, only your money." Clara paused, calm, unshakable. She turned and walked, heels clicking. A former friend tried one last jab. "You'll always be alone." Clara held up a small photo of her father and her as a girl. "I'm never alone," she whispered. Victor Lang, rival CEO, stepped forward, hand extended. "We didn't just secure a deal. I want to build a real family with you." Clara's hand tightened in his. Together, they walked out. The Kingsleys' empire crumbled. Their social circle abandoned them. Clara moved forward, her company stronger, her life fuller. Proof that courage and truth outweigh arrogance and wealth. For anyone judged, dismissed, or mocked, Clara's story stands as a quiet promise. You are enough. Always have been.